On this episode of Nation Untamed,
this is my very first time in an igloo.
We travel to Quebec's far north to join an Inuit hunting expedition.
You had a whiteout here, you'd never find your way out.
On a mission for seal and caribou.
That fur is so thick.
And learn the ways of a culture that continues to thrive in this harsh environment.
We always find a way, somehow.
Oh my goodness.
Many of us have lost our connection to the natural world.
That's amazing.
Cut off from the ways of the land that defined our ancestors.
There we go.
Yeah. Along with my old man, I'm on a quest to reclaim these forgotten skills.
You gotta learn how to be fast.
Together, we'll explore the wild and learn from the rugged few determined to keep these traditions alive.
Woo! And this is the joy of it right here, fellas. This is what it's all about.
Inukjuak, Quebec, an Inuit village on the shores of Hudson Bay, where many of its 1,800 residents still live off the land. They have a proud heritage of hunting seal, walrus, caribou, and Arctic fox. The location even holds a place in cinematic history. A century ago, it was here that one of the most significant documentaries of all time was filmed. The legendary Nanook of the North. But a lot has changed since then, and over the years, the impact of colonization eroded the community's connection to the land. The loss of purpose resulted in tragedy. After a rash of suicides in 2001, Tommy Palliser and others in the community had had enough and devised a way to reverse the trend.
The welfare rates are high, the unemployment rates are high, the dropout rates are high. So we just kind of looked at ourselves and kind of said, what can we do? And we just kind of went back to our roots and said, let's teach them skills, let's teach them hunting skills, let's teach them good survival skills, to be able to survive on the land.
They call it the Unak Men's Association.
We work with elders, we work with experienced hunters, and we teach the younger generation, how to hunt, how to build igloos, how to read the land, how to get to your hunting spots. So everything traditional, we try and teach the younger generations.
Tommy invites us to tag along on a 2-day Men's Association hunting expedition to show us how they do it.
What a close-up.
This is Charlie Naukawak, and he's more than just a pretty face. He's an expert Inuk hunter and leader of the expedition. For the next 3 days, our lives will be in his hands. Inuktitut is the primary language spoken here, so Charlie acts as our interpreter, as well as our guide.
You're half native. What's your...
Ojibwe.
Oh, Ojibwe, okay.
And then Ukrainian.
Yeah, and I'm Ukrainian.
Welcome.
During introductions, we learn that some of the youth joining us are as young as 10 years old. I hope I can keep up with them. We're heading 60 kilometers north, up the coast of Hudson Bay to hunt seal and overnight in a remote camp. There are no groomed trails out here, and the visibility is limited. The rule of the day is to simply follow the leader, and whatever you do, don't get lost. Ice ridges and crevices are everywhere, making the ride punishing for both us and the snow machines, and it's already caused a problem.
No.
The trailer hitch is broken. Out here, there are no replacement parts. Charlie will have to rely solely on his ingenuity to solve the problem.
I'm just using a temporary Allen key just to fix it for now until we have the other part. That's what I'm doing.
Using an Allen key as a temporary linchpin, he's able to secure the hitch with some fishing line.
We always find a way, somehow.
The break in the action gives Chuck a chance to soak in the Arctic surroundings.
Just look at the vastness of that, eh? Man, there's a few landmarks you could pick out if you knew what you're doing or knew where you're going. But yeah, it's pretty vast here. You had a whiteout here, you'd never find your way out if you didn't know what you're doing.
Charlie's finished the repair. Hopefully that fishing line is strong enough to keep the sled attached. The sky's clear by the time we reach our destination, where we're about to experience a traditional seal hunt. Seals are a staple for the Inuit people. The fat, the hide, and the meat are critical to helping them survive this harsh environment. These days, rifles are often used when hunting them, but the traditional harpoon is also still relevant.
This is harpoon, the main one, and this is unak. That's unak, and Billy was showing how to put that rope that way, so when they're gonna go on nippak, when it comes out, you harpoon it, and then that one move that way right away and put your nail.
As Charlie demonstrates, the tip of the harpoon is attached to a rope. When lodged into a seal, the tip releases from the shaft, and the rope is used to pull it in.
No, hooks on to the animal, goes inside like this, and then turn that way like this.
How important are these skills that you're imparting into these kids out here? Like, how big is that to keep the culture going?
They go hunting all year round. They seal hunt, beluga hunt, and caribou hunt, everything that they can hunt, even the geese.
It's these same youth who will be hunting today. We'll stay back as they spread out to station themselves at small breathing holes in the ice, where seals will emerge to take a breath. Hunting seal this way takes incredible resolve and patience. The hunters have to wait motionless, sometimes for hours, for a seal to appear, and then be able to react instantly if one finally does.
There's 4 holes with 4 young men. So we got to kind of stay away because any sound will push the seals away. So now we're just kind of hanging back on the outskirts of where the breathing holes are, waiting for those guys to hopefully see some seals. We'll just chill here for a bit and try and keep warm.
It's a slow afternoon. So far, not a single seal. Charlie scours the ice in search of other breathing holes that might produce, but it's not looking good. So it wasn't a successful seal hunt today, but I think it's valuable for the young guys to learn that, you know, you're not always going to be successful every time you go on the land. Empty-handed, we saddle up and make our way to our final destination, the overnight camp. Here, we're greeted with warm tea and traditional delicacies.
This is a flour mixed with trout fish.
But by far, the coolest part of tonight is our accommodations. Oh, this is my very first time in an igloo. Look at this. Man, that's so cool. I can't believe the size of it. I've had apartments smaller than this. This igloo will be our home for the night. Tomorrow, we'll learn how to build one of our own. Day Day 2 on the frozen tundra in northern Quebec. After a restful sleep, our first ever in an igloo, we set off to learn how to build one ourselves. Our expert guide Charlie will teach us how to make this iconic Inuit snow shelter. The first step is identifying the right kind of snow required.
We have 3 main categories on snow: hard snow, soft snow, powdery snow. As you can see, it's not layered. It's not too powdery like that one here.
Okay.
Hard-packed bricks of snow are needed for construction.
Because it's a hard snow.
Yeah.
It's good for the big blizzard, not to be buried alive when there's a blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
That happens
You
too.
don't want that.
Yeah.
But they can't be too hard.
When it's too hard, too dense, you can start losing your consciousness, like losing
Suffocate almost.
suffocate
Oh, really?
inside the house, inside the igloo.
Out here, having the ability to build a proper shelter can mean the difference between life and death.
In the last 20, 30 years, many young people died from freezing because they lost the skill.
Charlie gathers the youth to watch as he starts the building process. Group instruction is, of course, in Inuktitut. Using just a snow saw and a large knife, Charlie puts on a clinic. He can single-handedly build an igloo in under an hour. He's clearly got this under control. The least Chuck and I can do is cut up some bricks for him.
Oh, look at that, eh? For Boo, got another one for you too.
That's too much angle. That's okay.
Yeah.
Charlie's very particular about the size and shape of the bricks. It appears I need to keep practicing my technique.
Here, you can keep that.
No good.
I'll take the other one.
This is harder than it looks.
In spite of our failed efforts to help, Charlie finishes the igloo. He calls over one of the youth to test out its structural integrity.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That was impressive, man.
Yeah, that's something
That was
else.
really impressive.
We would have did a lot faster, but we weren't helping you.
Most people think of snow as kind of an adversarial thing. Up here, they use the snow to their advantage. They literally have built their homes out of snow. Nowhere else in the world I can think of where they've done that. So they've taken something that most people see as something hostile, and they've worked it into something that works for them. Start off with that corner.
Using Charlie's teachings, I get the chance to make an igloo of my own.
We're good? Oh yeah. All right. So.
But will it pass the test?
Yeah, slowly crawling on and putting your weight on it. Lay on top of it.
I guess this is proof that more time is needed to perfect my skills. With little wind and clear skies today, the conditions are perfect for our final Arctic experience, a caribou hunt. To increase our chances, we split up the group, and Tommy takes over as our guide for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A herd's been spotted not too far from here, so we're optimistic about our chances. We park the snow machines not far from the area the caribou were spotted and approach on foot. The only sound to be heard is our boots marching through the snow.
Tommy!
Eventually, our persistence pays off. It's a small herd, 4 caribou. Tommy gets into position to take a shot. But they're out of range.
Nah, it's like 500 yards.
Way out of range.
Whew.
It gets the blood pumping, eh?
Yeah.
We get back on the sleds to move around to the other side of the herd for a better look. Tommy finds a ridge that will act as cover and hide our snow machines from view.
So they're on the other side of this hill here.
They weren't spooked, so we should be okay.
Okay. I can see them all right over there.
It's a good-sized herd, a great opportunity. If the caribou catch sight of us at this range, it will undoubtedly spook them. The only way to get closer now is to get right down to the ground. Finally, Tommy's in range.
Looks like you got one.
One down for sure. Maybe 2.
2 caribou might be down, but we need to get closer to know for sure. On the Arctic tundra near Nukjuak, Quebec, Inuk hunter Tommy Palliser has just harvested 1 and possibly even 2 caribou from long range. We ride over to check on the results of Tommy's impressive marksmanship, and it turns out he did get 2.
Feel how dense and warm that is.
Yeah.
Wow, that fur is so thick.
It's something else to kill an animal, but we're always happy that it's going to feed families and feed the community. Yeah.
And it's good food too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. At least it got to be a caribou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once this starts to come off, you'll be able to roll it and put it down. There you go. Yeah.
With Tommy's supervision and guidance, Chuck and I help him skin the animal.
Yeah, there you go. You can start pulling it down now. Once all this is done.
But Tommy's skills are needed to handle the butchering and major surgery. Once finished, all the parts are separated. Nothing is wasted. We load up the sled and head back to camp to reconvene with Charlie and the others. We arrive to find that they've also had success, harvesting several caribou of their own. And once again, even the youngest members are getting their hands dirty. We step in to help.
What I usually do is I start around here.
Okay. You just take her off at.
Yeah.
You cut right around.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
It's a nice chunk of meat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
To celebrate our bounty, we gather indoors to share in a traditional feast. sampling the caribou and the other food harvested from the land. What should I try first?
Caviar with this.
What is that? I can tell if everyone's laughing. It's
good. Tell me if it tastes like a blue cheese.
Oh, that's the fermented. Do I dip? Do I dip in it?
Yeah, dip little piece, not
too big.
or everything, the whole thing.
Looks like sushi.
Yes.
It's actually fermented seal.
I really love it because I'm used to that
Yeah.
since I was a child.
And it smells.
Maybe for you it's
Oh.
chicken, you like it that much? I don't know.
Oh, that's
Oh,
it does taste like blue
I
cheese.
can see it in your face right away.
There's eggs. Sadly, our time in Inukjuak has come to an end, but it's truly been an unforgettable experience.
Polar bear's good.
Okay, really good. The Unak Men's Association is proof positive that learning land-based skills and keeping traditions alive can have a dramatic effect on the overall health of communities and change lives for the better. I'll leave the last word to Elder Lukasi Ekaluk, as translated by Charlie.
He's saying that what they're doing is really important to continue to preserve Inuit culture, and he's saying that it's important that we continue to preserve our language and culture like any other culture in the world, and continue to transmit the knowledge and skills to our younger generation.
I live in the city. We see geese everywhere, in the parks and in the ponds. At best, we treat them as selfie backgrounds, and at worst, they're itching for a fight when you get too close. Mostly, we just ignore them. But in the indigenous lands way up north, it's a different story. Me and my old man Chuck are taking the long journey to see what that's all about. We've flown to the village of Wampanoag, Quebec. From here, we'll be going to meet the Masti family at their camp on Hudson Bay by helicopter. When's the last time you were in a helicopter?
In my dreams.
It's a spectacular 20-minute chopper ride to the Masti's remote camp. We're coming for the biggest event of the year. It's even bigger than Christmas. It's called Goose Break.
Welcome to our camp.
Yeah, this is gorgeous.
This is nice.
Your camp is that one, right
Yeah.
there. That's going to be yours.
Melvin's entire family is up here for Goose Break, which is their annual traditional goose hunt. The geese are returning after a long winter, and many Cree people return at the same time. They come to reconnect with the land and with each other, to fill their freezers with food for the coming year, and to honor the life-giving gifts of the goose.
Our culture is still very strong here, so everybody still practice the tradition a lot.
Keeping your culture alive, why is that so important to you?
I guess it's to pass on to my kids. And we enjoy doing this. This is it's been generations that's been happening, the Goose Break.
Up here, it's a big moment for every Cree child when they catch their first goose. A rite of passage in becoming an adult.
When a kid catches his first goose, we give it to an elder, and we have to cook everything, and then we have a small supper, like a feast. We have to include a cake and everything, and we have to finish the goose the first time they catch it.
I can't wait to go out on the land with them and see if I can get my first goose. Not knowing what to expect, we head out on the land to the hunting blinds they've made on the shores of Hudson Bay.
I think one of the coolest things up here is like the landscape, because you've got like boreal forest, end of the tree line. You got like what looks like sand dunes, which is crazy. Then you got the ocean, and you've got almost like these little mountains kind of surrounding us. So it's like kind of a combination of like every really cool landscape you can have.
But in an instant, our journey comes to an abrupt halt. Melvin is off his ATV with his shotgun. I don't know what's going on. Then I hear the geese. They're flying right toward us. Melvin is perfectly situated behind a tree, while I'm on the ground in the open, trying not to be spotted by the geese. At the precise moment,
Holy,
I don't have my...
holy Melvin, you move graceful for a big fella.
while I'm still composing myself, Melvin points over to where his son Samuel is.
Holy shit. That's a good start.
My heart is still pumping as Chuck picks up Melvin's kill.
Hey, look at that, eh? They're a big bird. Got a lot of meat on that guy.
Before we move on,
What do we do when we kill our geese?
Melvin shows me the traditional protocol he follows to honor the goose in the Cree way.
It's to respect the animal. We tie the wings together like that. James Quabbott Sr. told me a long time ago that when the animals used to talk, like the geese, he said, if you kill me, I want you guys to tie my wings out of respect.
Yeah.
So that's why I tied the wing.
I love how everything is like, yeah, no matter what community you go to or where, you know, whether it be Inuit or Cree or whatnot, there's always these really good customs, you know, where everything's done with respect.
It was amazing to watch Melvin and his son move with such skill. We have 2 geese, and we haven't even reached the blinds yet. I hope that means I might get my chance soon. This is it, the southern shores of Hudson Bay.
There's geese right there.
Melvin's family's traditional goose hunting area. Samuel lays the decoys out. They'll help attract geese flying overhead, encouraging them to land. I can't help notice how lifelike they are.
Do you ever shoot your own decoys?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very convincing.
All right, let's get to our spot. And Chuck will stay with Sam.
Okay.
Using pine branches, Melvin builds a blind behind some small trees. Our hideout, so approaching geese won't spot us.
He could come from anywhere, any direction. We're ready.
Ready?
Now it's a waiting game. We'll settle in to scan the skies.
This is our new home?
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm eager to try to get my first goose. In the meantime, I consult the expert.
So what's the crash course on this guy?
You're good to go.
Okay.
But safety.
Where's the safety? Right there?
Push it in.
Red's ready to fire?
Yeah.
Okay. So you just pull back on that lever?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's kind of the firing position?
Yeah, you
Just pop up and...
Yeah. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
No geese in sight. That's the thing with hunting. You don't know if the geese will come at all. For the Cree hunters, it's a time to enjoy the land and each other's company.
When did you start goose hunting?
Since I was 5,
Yeah.
this is where my son caught
His first.
When he shot it, it did a backflip and it died.
If I fall asleep, just give me a slap in the back of the head.
I'll let you know if they're coming.
But the peace and quiet doesn't last long. I want to spring into action, but Melvin knows better.
Don't move, get ready. Just get ready. Just don't move.
We'll wait until the geese are closer.
Don't move, don't move.
Then I get the go-ahead.
Go more. It's already off.
I get into firing position.
Go more.
My heart is pumping.
Okay,
I let off a shot,
get ready. Shoot it.
but the goose is still flying. I try to steady myself and take aim again. On the shores of Hudson Bay with Cree hunter Melvin Masty, we're on his family's annual Goose Break. Geese are in our sights. My heart is pumping,
Go more. It's already off.
and I'm about to have my first crack at getting a goose.
Go more. Okay. Get ready.
Okay.
Shoot it.
Did I just hit that?
That's a lot of shooting for one goose.
In the chaos, I'm not sure, but Melvin knows.
You shot it first?
Yeah.
So you're the killer. So you got your
I got my
goose.
first goose.
Yeah. You got your goose.
What a burst of adrenaline.
Who made the last shot?
I'm not sure.
The result still hasn't sunk in.
I think I got it.
Yeah, you got it first. So technically you're the killer.
I'm the killer.
I'm still amazed I got one.
I'll bring it to you. It's steep.
So Melvin retrieves my goose.
So your first goose.
Holy cow.
You didn't have to wait long.
And it just one came in, just like that, man. Holy.
Just remember what I taught you.
Yes, with the
Wings. Yeah.
So I put her down.
Because this is my first goose, I now get the honor to tie its wings. But first, Melvin removes one feather and puts it in its mouth to mark the goose as mine.
First thing we'll do is take this off, so we'll know that's yours. Take it, and you start breaking it. Go like this. Same thing with this one.
This guy here?
Yeah. You break it, and you tie.
As I tie its wings, I feel connected to the land and to the animal, and gain a real understanding of the respect it deserves.
Your first goose,
Yeah.
the young one, just like you.
Well, that didn't take long.
Yeah. We're lucky. You got it. So when we go back, you give it to my mom. My mom is the elder person, so she'll prepare it for us.
Good shooting.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's adrenaline going a bit. Yeah.
But this isn't over. We still have a long day of hunting ahead of us. We quickly go from a lot of action to a lot of waiting. A couple hours have passed, and nothing.
Geez, is that a goose? It looks like, flies like a goose.
No, that's a seagull. That's a seagull.
The one's a seagull. Oh, I guess, yeah, the other
Yeah,
one's a seagull.
they're both seagulls, yeah.
Then, we hear geese in the distance.
It works really well.
Melvin's son Samuel pulls out the secret weapon. I would never have thought to use a megaphone and recorded goose calls to lure them closer. He tries a shot, but they're too far.
The neat thing that you guys like with the way you hunt is like, it's all the traditional stuff, but you're taking advantage of like modern technology. Because like, why not? It's there.
Yeah.
But you also have these like old traditional ways of dealing with the animals.
Yeah.
With no geese in range, we're back to more waiting.
How do you say goose in Cree?
Nisk.
Nisk.
Yeah, nisk.
That's an easy one.
The day has dragged on. Melvin feels it's time to call off the hunt. Suddenly, that's when things get really exciting. They never know if more geese will come, so they take what nature offers them. They're not hunting for sport. They're trying to get as many as they need to feed their families for the next year.
Just like that. 5 minutes, it all changes.
I wade out into the cold water to retrieve a goose. But before I bring it in, I need to do a check to make sure it isn't carrying a deadly disease which would make it inedible.
Is there foam around the beak?
No, he looks good.
What about the foot?
I think he's good. That's how it goes, eh? I think it's just about to go home and there's a nisk.
I can't say enough about how incredible it is to be out here, but it's time to go. I'm looking forward to preparing my first goose and the feast to come.
I don't even think I've ever eaten goose before.
No?
No.
Don't worry, you will today.
Oh yeah.
Near the shores of Hudson Bay in northern Quebec,
You shot it first?
Yeah.
So you're the killer.
I kill my first goose during Goose Break, a special time of the year for the Cree community.
Hello.
At the Masty family camp, I follow the tradition and present my first goose to the elders, Melvin's father Isaac and mother Stella.
This is for you, sir, for letting us on your land or in your camp. Thank you. And this is the first goose.
First goose.
Thank you. It was exciting.
Yeah.
Isaac checks to make sure I tied the wings, because treating the bird with respect will ensure future successful hunts.
There's a very strong connection with the wildlife among our people. And that's why those kinds of protocols are very important to follow. If you break the protocols, then the harvest becomes a little bit more difficult.
Since it's my first kill, the goose I shot will be boiled, as per tradition. The others are smoked around a fire. Here, Pasha, Melvin's wife, is in charge of the cooking. They're plucked, singed, scraped, gutted, and the final touch I never knew about,
So after you gut it, we put the blood all over for flavor. Namageo. For flavor.
When the birds are ready, she'll roast them for about 3 hours over the open flame. While we wait for the feast to begin, Pasha offers me and Chuck an unusual snack.
So this is goose stomach.
Mm-hmm. There's salt if you want flavor.
Try it. That's great.
Oh,
I like that.
It's crunchy.
No part of the animal is ever wasted.
When you share a meal like this, so you share it with everybody, even the littlest baby.
My big moment arrives. The feast begins with a traditional prayer.
Your first goose, number one.
Number one.
That makes you a man now, a hunter.
I've been waiting a long time to be a man.
I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Very happy.
Thank you. No, it was a cool feeling. It was a lot different than hunting a deer or something like that.
Yes,
so it was,
yes, and it's honoring, giving a good day.
that's right.
You never decline what's given to you in one day when you're hunting.
Scoop.
Now that I'm a man, I have the privilege of taking the first plate of food, and then the rest is shared with everyone.
Who gets the head?
Oh, I thought you were gonna go for the head for sure.
Up here, I've come to respect Goose Break. To be out on the land, reconnecting with nature and with each other, and to be able to provide for your family and share these special times. There's nothing like it.
Your first goose?
Yeah.
And I know, when I'm back in the city, I'll have a whole new respect. East Prairie, Alberta. A Métis community northwest of Edmonton in the boreal forest. The terrain is familiar to me, a lot like my dad's trapline in the Duck Mountains of western Manitoba. In Alberta, there are actual Métis settlements which act similarly to reserves with land rights. The Métis people here have the same origins as my ancestors from the Red River Valley. Kevin Amard is one of them.
I think that there should be Métis settlements all over Canada because the Métis are one of the first people that were actually Canada.
It's true. As the British and French pushed into the continent in search of valuable furs, they relied heavily on the Indigenous people. This interaction led to the formation of a distinct new people, descending from both European and First Nations, known as the Métis, of which I am one. And if there's one thing our people are known for, it's getting out onto the land, which continues to connect one generation to another. Kevin's father, Gary, joins us.
As far as hunting, we never spent much time together, me and Kevin, because of our situation, but yeah, we haven't been able to bond in that way, and for me to teach him about the bush. And now as it going, now he's teaching me, you see?
Yeah, that's good. It's a good way to bond.
Bonding wasn't easy for them, as Kevin didn't grow up in the same home as his father. Like many Indigenous families, there were obstacles to overcome, but connecting through hunting has helped. Kevin has turned his father onto hunting one particular animal, black bears.
Tell me about the black bear and why is it your passion?
When I hunt black bear, I hunt it for Mostly to preserve the ungulates here.
Ungulates, meaning hoofed animals like deer, elk, and moose.
The big black bear will eat and kill moose calves. They're even known to kill large moose, like a full-grown moose. They kill the elk, their calves. They kill the deer and their babies. They even kill their own kind, and they eat their own kind too. So
these traditional wild food sources are threatened.
after a while, it kind of gets to the point of, okay, well, somebody's got to try to do something about this. And I decided, well, I'm going to be one of those people. And then when I started learning how to bait, that changed everything. There's so much work that goes into that.
Oh yeah,
People think it's a slam dunk, but it's not.
Baiting is the process of enticing an animal to a particular place with food. It can be a controversial practice, but it would be extremely difficult to hunt bears without doing it. Kevin chooses to go about the hunt in a more traditional way.
Well, there's one thing that you do that I find very unique is you hunt with a recurve bow. Why a recurve?
This is my weapon of choice. The reason why I like it so much is because I don't have to worry about sight. I don't have to worry about how far it is, because after a while it becomes like throwing a ball. You just loose that arrow and it's on its way.
While we practice on a fake deer, the principle is the same on a bear.
Gotta relearn the muscle memory.
I've always been intrigued by the recurve bow.
Oh!
And I've tried it before.
How much time did you spend on a recurve bow before you felt comfortable hunting a bear?
I shot every day for 6 months.
Yeah?
But facing a bear while shooting a bow is different. Kevin gives me a few pointers.
What the idea is, when you hold up, and then you can't the bow when you lean over a little bit so that the arrow goes right underneath your eye.
Yeah.
And then when you let go, don't move away from your face, go straight backwards.
Oh, Jesus.
I guess we're not eating tonight, eh?
Oh. If that was a moose, that'd be a great
Moose,
shot.
yeah, you would have hit him in the hump.
This is a lot harder than last time I did this. It's the pressure of, performance exactly.
We've decided that Kevin will take the bow when the time comes.
I'm definitely glad you're the one taking the shot, not me, because I would miss, or I would hit the bear in like the toe and just make him really angry.
Now, we need bait.
Oh, got a young one.
Nice young beaver.
Yeah, it's a nice size for bait.
Remember doing this, Sam?
Oh yeah. It's been a few years.
Every critter out there that eats meat likes beaver. And it's just one of those things, one of the best baits there is.
To go with the beaver, Kevin adds a few more ingredients and one extra layer of security.
So I'm taking a shotgun. I've got 3 slugs in it right now.
Locked and loaded, we're ready to roll into the forest. It isn't long before we find evidence of bears.
There's cub tracks here. There's a bigger bear here. The mother tracks are here. So we've got a sow with cubs in the area, and we've probably got a young boar. There's other tracks over here that are older. I think that was the boar.
Oh, right here.
That is a nice bear.
That's a good sized bear.
Big.
Yeah.
These bears can be territorial and aggressive. We'll need to be very careful. And not far down the path, we see just how dangerous they can be.
Oh, there's a leg.
That's not off a calf, though, is it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is a big calf.
Holy cow.
I saw this alive earlier this spring.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that that big black bear got him.
Jeez. There's not much left.
Yeah.
No. And they have a big effect on the population, eh? With the yearlings.
A huge effect. Wow. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why I hunt the bear. I don't like to see this.
Moose are a key source of food for the Métis that live here, and bears are eating a lot of them.
In this area, if the bears were left unchecked, what could potentially be some of the outcomes?
Well, the way that everything's going right now, I think it's only a matter of time before somebody gets mauled. My children don't go outside unless somebody's watching them.
Kevin says that logging in surrounding areas has pushed bear populations into their community and has disrupted a natural balance. It's pretty sobering to know that a bear could be anywhere. We have to keep on the lookout. After a good hike in, we get to the bait site.
Yeah, this is a good spot with in this dense little spruce grove here.
Yeah, you kind of have an idea when you come into a place like this. There's something just tells you this is a good spot.
Can you put this over there?
Now to mix our bait.
First one is we'll take the oats, bring it over. These are just regular oats.
Just regular feed?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just dump the whole bag in?
Yeah.
With oats, Kevin mixes in dog food, then adds molasses and corn.
Oats with molasses and corn.
And one final delicious ingredient the bears can't resist.
Use restaurant grease.
Ooh.
Look, there's even fries in it.
Fried chicken in there?
Yeah, fries.
Boy, a real concoction. Yeah.
We add the beaver we trapped earlier.
So you really got to work for that.
Yeah. And same with the cage. This cage is a rotting beaver carcass in it.
Now, the universal signal that it's time to eat.
We've got to ring the dinner bell. Good enough.
So if he's within earshot, he's going to hear that.
Yeah, he knows when I bang on there, it's time to come and eat.
Kevin and Gary start to get the tree stands set up. They're just small platforms, so Kevin tests his movements and sightlines. Just as we're getting ready to head up into the tree stands, we see a black bear lurking in the woods.
Yeah, he's a black mass, but his head was sticking out. He's just right over there. He's a big boy. Look at him, man. He doesn't care, eh?
We're in northern Alberta, deep in black bear country.
He's a black mass, but his head was sticking out. He's just right over there.
There are so many bears here that it's become dangerous. We've been here a few minutes and have already spotted one.
Wow, that didn't take long, eh?
Yeah. He's just waiting for us to leave so we can come and eat.
Yeah. Smart.
Kevin is looking for a big male that has disturbed the local moose population.
The bear knows that we're here. They just don't care that we're here.
We're fortunate that this bear is giving us some space, for now. But we've got to get off the ground and get out of its way. It's here to eat, and right now, we're standing between the bear and its next meal.
Okay, I need you guys up in your trees.
Yeah, not a huge fan. I think it's not even that high up. Oh man, that's it's not a lot of space.
Getting up here gives us a great vantage point. Kevin gets his bow ready.
Okay, perfect.
Up in the tree, we're quiet, waiting in anticipation. The bear is careful as it approaches.
What he's doing right now is he's smelling where we walked. He's circling to make sure that it's safe for him to come in. Did you see he looked at us?
The bear is being extremely cautious.
See how he looked back over there? He's kind of nervous. He's waiting for that bigger bear to come in. He knows that bigger bear's over there. You'll notice that every once in a while he'll look back behind him.
And the bigger bear is what Kevin's after. We'll have to be patient. There's no way of telling when it will come.
Yeah, this one's smaller.
Was the other one the big guy you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's probably not too far away then.
No, eventually he'll come and chase this guy away.
Yeah, that's what you're waiting for.
Yeah.
This is just kind of nice to watch.
Yeah, well, you don't get to see stuff like this too often. This might be a female.
Is it easy to tell the difference between the two?
Sometimes this one's pretty young, so that's why I'm not too sure if it's male or female. A male has sort of like a square-looking head.
Okay.
And you don't want to kill any females either.
The big boars are the ones that kill moose. Knowing this, Kevin will spare this female, something that's in line with his conservation practices.
You see how it keeps sniffing the air, right? What it's doing is it's keeping a tab on the other one. Because if the other one happens to be downwind and he lifts the head up and he sniffs, he'll smell the other one coming in. But a weird thing is that when the bear are down there and they're eating like that, they can be snuck up on.
The beaver carcass draws the bear's interest.
See, a bear like that is very dangerous to a person, though. It's not very big, but it'd still rip you apart. Even a cub that's a year old is strong enough to hurt you bad. But it's a nice show, right?
Yeah, this is wonderful.
Then, it's what we've been waiting for.
That's him. That's him. Come in here. I dare you, come on.
It's the big bear. With all her caution, the female has become comfortable. She has no idea the big boar is bearing down on her. Kevin seems patient, but I'm wired. I can't believe what I'm seeing. She finally spots him. This is the chance Kevin has been waiting for. In Alberta's boreal forest, we're watching an unbelievable scene unfold before our eyes. This is the moment Kevin has been waiting for. The shot is true. This boar won't get very far. But before we can track it down, we'll have to wait for the female to get clear of the area.
See, she's still freaking out.
That's a terrifying sound. When she saw that bear, man, that was crazy.
Even after how many bears I've killed, I still get adrenaline dump.
Of course, that is an experience.
No, she'll get down and she'll run away.
It's always sad to see an animal get dispatched, but what we witnessed in that probably 5 minutes was something that most people will never see in their entire lives.
Okay, now we can get down.
It's good stuff, eh?
This moment has a profound effect on Kevin and his dad.
Good one, good one.
I don't know the full story, but I do know that life has not always been easy. Out here, there's a chance to heal, to be in the moment and come together. Now that the coast is clear, we track down the final resting place of the big boar.
Oh, wow.
Oh, right on, son.
And we found him.
Big bear.
Yeah.
This is cause for celebration and coming together over an unparalleled experience.
It was really cool to see you guys reconnecting over hunting. You know, I could tell that you guys were real happy.
Yeah.
You know, it was really nice to see.
For me, hunting is not all the time getting an animal. It's spending time being out there with him and being out and enjoying nature, right? Me learning off of him as well. Just because I'm the older, that doesn't mean I know it all, right? He teaches me lots.
It's an unusual meal. We get to actually try a black bear that Kevin has harvested.
Well, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, I've never had bear before.
Yeah, it's the first time for me. It's that old saying, sometimes the bear eats you, sometimes you eat the bear. It's good.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it's similar to.
Bear.
Similar to bear.
Looks like a bear, tastes like a bear.
Nice and tender.
Well, I did cook in a restaurant for 6 years. So.
Did you?
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Master chef.
I'm learning that getting into nature is healing. It connects us to our true selves and each other.
I thought I knew a lot about bears before, but I learned a lot more now.
Well, I'm glad I could be of some help, you know. This is something that should be passed on to more people. Not only just pass it on to the younger generation, but share it with everybody, right?
Yeah.
While taking responsibility for his choices, Kevin is trying to create balance while providing for his family. It is up to all of us to find that balance within ourselves. The rugged maritime island of Cape Breton on the eastern tip of Nova Scotia. It's home to many Mi'kmaq communities, including Potlatech First Nation on the shores of Brador Lake. Here, they've hunted and fished for their food for thousands of years. And one fish holds a special place in the heart of the Mi'kmaq. The American eel. It's ugly, but it's full of life-sustaining nutrition, and it's honored for keeping the Mi'kmaq alive during lean times.
They're fatty too. You guys ever ate eels before?
No.
So if it wasn't for the eels, a lot of our tribe would been gone.
Terry Denny is a Mi'kmaq elder from Eskasoni who lives in Potlatech First Nation. He's a master at catching eels. He learned to fish how his ancestors did, off a boat using a spear. There were no fishing rods in those days.
So this is our shop right here.
Terry keeps the traditional ways of fishing alive by making his own spears in this wood shop. It's loaded with tons of different types and styles.
This is the ones I grew up with. And this one is made out of bone.
Oh, that looks different.
He makes all the traditional spears, but he's also designing new ones using stronger materials like metal.
Me, I believe in the old way, but I also believe in improving the old way.
Yeah.
So this was the first prototype, and we like it. There's a lot more to come.
You're like mad scientists.
Well,
always tinkering and trying to find what works.
Terry is passing on his skills to his sons, Hunter, Kent, and Luke, and he teaches the kids from the school next door. Like me, many have lost their connections to their past. That's why I'm on this journey with my old man, to regain that traditional knowledge and reconnect with my roots. And today, Terry is going to teach us how to build our own spears.
What I learned over the years, in order to make a round pole, you must make it into a square pole first.
Okay.
Square it up, and then you make it into an octagon and back into a circle.
Oh, okay.
But I used to do it the hard way and just make it, and I would never get a straight pole.
Terry makes it look easy. I'm just trying not to screw up.
Look way easier when you're doing it.
It takes time, you know.
And it takes Terry's skilled hands to finish it off.
That is a very straight round pole from what we started with. That's awesome.
There's no time to make the spearhead today because we're heading off to go fishing tonight. But first, Terry shares an expert's tip on how to thrust a spear.
First of all, if you hold it like this, you will miss because
Oh, okay. That's the natural way.
So the one has to be a slider, like a, and all you're doing is going straight down.
Remember that.
It's close to midnight on the shores of Brador Lake, an estuary connected to both freshwater rivers and the Atlantic Ocean. I should be getting into bed. Instead, we're getting into boats. Terry's sons Hunter and Kent will guide us.
We're gonna cut across the cove, and then we're just gonna make our way across the cove and see if we have any luck.
Eels thrive in the brackish water here, especially at night. During the day, eels hide under rocks and logs. But under the cover of night, they come out, and we'll be able to spot them.
So the eels, they favor the shoreline?
Yeah, at nighttime they come out to feed in the shallows. They're very, very shy fish.
It's cold, it's dark, and it's raining.
It's pitch black, you're surrounded by fog in the middle of this big lake, and it's a pretty eerie feeling.
Tonight, I'm learning from Hunter, just as he learned from his dad. My job is to sit uncomfortably still and search for eel.
You're just so focused on scanning the lake shore, just back and forth, just trying to pick up on anything that moves.
I find they're always kind of going either left to right or right to left, or they'll come straight at you, and you don't really have a lot of time to
Not a lot of time to react.
Yeah, you got to see them way before.
Then Kent spots movement.
You see him?
Yep.
Here. Right in your leg. Right in your leg.
Oh, yeah.
It's a false alarm.
Is that small? That's a small one.
The eel is too young and small. We'll leave it so it can grow into an adult. This is getting exciting. We're definitely in eel territory. But we spot something else.
Straight ahead, there's a trout.
Yeah.
The spears are made to catch other fish too. Hunter goes for the trout.
Get him.
But it's a fighter.
Oh!
And Hunter can't get it into the boat.
That was a good start. That was cool. I'm surprised at how, like how much muscle that takes to get those out.
And then, an eel sighting. It's coming into range.
There he is.
It makes a sharp turn right towards Hunter. I'm feeling this is it.
Oh, I missed him. He just juked me out.
While my heart's still pumping, Hunter gets a second chance.
Better now. Headshot, Hunter.
On a rainy night, on a boat in the interior of Cape Breton Island, we're searching for eels on a spearfishing expedition in Mi'kmaq territory. Our guide, Hunter Denny, has an eel in his sights.
Get him.
This time, his aim is true.
Doesn't want to come off.
It's been said that if an eel wraps itself around the spear, it is offering itself to the fisher.
Well, so that happened very, very fast. Quick. Wasn't even paying attention.
I've never seen an eel before, except on TV. But yeah, it was slippery and slimy, and there was a lot of slime coming off him. Yeah, it was unique to see him.
Our night ends with only one eel, but we don't leave disappointed, because it's the Mi'kmaq way to be grateful for whatever nature has decided to give us. The next morning, we go down to the beach to clean and skin the eel.
So this is our friend here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eels are coated in a slime, a protective layer that needs to be removed before we skin it.
We like to use the sand because it gets the slime off. It's like sandpaper, essentially.
Just grits it all off.
Yep. So then...
And just rub it down.
Yeah, you just grab them by the head and you kind of wrap your hand around and just... You got to squeeze this hand tight and just kind of slide down without doing that.
Yeah. I'll finish it off for you.
Chuck takes his turn at it.
Take that little piece off there.
Just kind of slide down.
Slide down.
And eventually when it kind of gets tough to pull, when you squeeze on it, there's not a lot of slime on them.
The sanding technique is part of traditional teaching. It shows we don't need special tools. We can use what's available and what the land gives us. And with a few deft knife cuts, the eel is skinned and cleaned.
Oh, geez, that skin just peels right off of there. Wow, just like that. Oh, like a snake.
Then they used to use this for ankle sprains. They used to wrap the skin around.
Yeah, I heard it brings the swelling down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Along with its medicinal properties, the eel has a special cultural and spiritual significance to the Mi'kmaq. Terry always tries to keep it on hand for people in the community who want it.
That is the first meal of a child. Somewhere in the old days, maybe 3 to 4 weeks old, a child will be given the brat. And coincidentally, I seen many elders or people on their last stages close to the spirit world. Their last meal would be the eel. So it's always good to have a stash of eel, just in case someone requests that too. This winter we got quite a few, and we gave over 95% of our eels away.
Terry feels the weight of that responsibility. We need to catch more eels. Back in the workshop, he sketches an idea for a spearhead that should increase our chances.
We're going to design a new spear. This is a tree pronger that I was thinking about. That's a pretty good design. It's like 2 spears together, right?
With the thousands of years of knowledge that was passed down to him, and his expertise with modern technology, Terry knows how to precisely shape and place each prong of the spear.
Pretty fierce looking.
These are going to work real well in mud. That looks good right there, eh?
Yeah.
You sure? All right.
Measure twice.
Terry's deep hook design will make the spear good for both eels and trout, and should increase the amount they catch.
Now that's a good weld.
It's a damn fine spear, Terry.
And you'll never see anyone like that. That's the first of its kind.
And we'll be the first to put it to the test. Nightfall at Brador Lake. Tonight, his brother Kent isn't here, so Hunter is taking us out solo.
So night 2?
Night 2.
Yeah. Well, looks beautiful. Nice
Yep,
and
it's
calm.
nice and calm.
Yeah.
Yep. So should be a good night. Hopefully there's going to be a lot of eels out tonight. Fingers crossed, you know.
And we're still going to also go for trout too. If we see
Yep,
some
if we see some trout.
It's a perfect night for catching eel. There's no wind, no rain. We have clear visibility in the water. Along with the new spear, we have every advantage, and no excuses if we don't catch anything.
The thing you'll be looking for will be kind of like shadows. I feel like you see the shadow first before you see the fish.
We're not out on the water long when Hunter locks on to his first target.
There he is. Should be a trout. And the new spear works good. Look at that.
Look at that. Holy, that's a good trout.
You gotta do, yeah, if you just want to slide that off, Chuck. Look at that. Perfect. We're off to a good start on night 2.
Terry's new design is already proving it's great at catching trout. It's not eel, but food is food. In Mi'kmaq tradition, you don't choose what nature offers you.
Oh wait, there's a big one right there.
Hunter's first trout is quickly followed by a second.
So another nice brown.
Yeah.
So I like the design of these hooks. They're hooking the belly really well.
Got them good.
Maybe we should have made this spear a long time ago.
Confident that the spear works, Hunter hands it to me. It's time to catch my first eel.
So you'll just kind of hit them, you'll see them wrap, and you pull them up.
It's a perfect night. I have a great spear, and an eel is swimming my way. It's all up to me.
Yeah, little guy, right? You had him right in your light. Go left a little bit more. That's a nice one. So guide the spear down. A little bit more. Now. Oh, that was a nice try.
I lost him in my...
In your light?
In my light. I find with the headlamp, with the mist coming down, it's yeah, it's hard to see.
This is much harder than Hunter makes it look. But he has years of experience and intuitive knowledge of how the fish move.
Hey Sam, do you see him? Right there.
I soon get a second chance.
He's starting to move a little bit. Aim a little bit further back.
It takes every ounce of concentration to follow the eel and choose the right moment.
You're right on him. Now.
On Cape Breton Island, in the shallow waters of Brador Lake, we are spearfishing for eel, and I've got one right under me.
Now. Now. You're right on him. Oh, okay, hold him.
I have a direct hit.
I'll stop the boat. Kind of hold it, push him. Give him a good little push.
I can feel its power under my spear. This is the moment of truth. Can I flip the eel into the boat?
And then try to get him up in one motion, like scoop him up. Oh, he popped off.
Big contact though, had him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got him on there. But yeah, he was wriggling. Oh yeah, he was kicking.
They're pretty strong, eh?
They're pretty strong.
If Hunter was on the spear, we'd have the eel. Unlike me, he knows what he's doing.
Sometimes they wiggle in little bursts, and then you gotta hold them, and when they stop, that's kind of when you gotta pull them up real quick.
That's exciting. That's way more exciting than regular fishing.
Oh, that was a nice try.
Tonight is not my night, but it's an experience I'll never forget. Our catch for the day, 2 good-sized brown trout to take home.
No luck with the eels
No
tonight.
luck with the eels tonight, but there's plenty of trout.
As I gut one of the trout, we notice something in its mouth.
Is he eating something?
Yep, look.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
The little eel?
It's a little eel.
We did get it.
Easy.
Oh, there you go.
Well, we didn't get the eels that we wanted. But Terry always keeps some extra on hand. And as is the custom, he is always ready to share.
If there's no salt or any sauce to it, in our language it's called wibe. And that means plain.
The eel is prepared in the traditional way, with simple ingredients. But when it's done, it's mouth-watering.
What do we got here?
So this one is a nice brown and crispy.
Ooh, yeah.
Will look good.
This looks like any other.
Looks
You
like
wouldn't
fish.
know it
Yeah.
was eel.
I've been wanting to taste eel since we arrived here. And finally, I have the honor to sit down to a traditional meal with Terry and his sons. They're keeping a cultural tradition alive that goes back thousands of years. It's been a remarkable experience, made even more remarkable when it ends with an exceptional and meaningful feast.
It's sort of like a meaty, eh? So it doesn't really taste like ordinary fish, eh?
No. Yeah, this is a wonderful meal, Terry.
Yeah.
Kluane Lake, Yukon, traditional territory of the Luan Mon Kudan, the Kluane Lake people. Their land is home to some of the highest mountains in North America, and they have thrived here for countless generations, hunting, fishing, and gathering.
I grew up across the lake. 10 days on horse from here is where I spent 20 years.
This is Sammy White, a skilled Kluane hunter and fisher. For Sammy, hunting and fishing is much more than just a job. He's of mixed blood, and this is a direct connection to his Kluane roots.
In this area, was it weird growing up, being part white, part native?
Yeah. When you're mixed, you know, I'm 25%, so I'd come here and they would say, oh, you're a white man. I go to Whitehorse and they're like, oh, you're an Indian. When you're little, you know what you are, but you're not used to the history of like what happened. Why is it like that? And it's still here today, really. Nope, no, you had it.
Had it.
Well, we're coming out of it. We evolved, right? Yeah. So everybody needs to understand they're not the only race.
Yeah.
One animal in particular has provided the Kluane people with meat high in protein and essential materials necessary to subsist in the mountains: the Dall sheep. Highly intelligent and evasive, hunting these bighorn mountain sheep requires determination, physical and mental endurance, and patience.
Ruby Range has the highest concentration of Dall sheep in the world.
Yeah.
And then the St. Elias Mountains in the Karney National Park probably has even more. They're a very unique animal to hunt.
Some call it the toughest hunt in the world.
They're very smart, intelligent. The best meat that we're gonna get around here is the sheep. You don't get much of it, but it's very good.
The thought of scaling these giant peaks surrounding us in search of sheep is daunting.
How long would it take to get up there? A day?
No.
A couple hours?
Depends how good a shape you're in.
So a week?
Today, we'll begin a 2-day trek into the mountains with the hope of harvesting a big male, commonly known as a ram. Its meat is precious in the community.
What we're doing is a bit for the community, and you know, my mom for winter meat, and Jared, and whoever's a part of it gets.
We are joined by Sammy's nephew Jared, a welcome extra set of hands and eyes.
So we're going about 5K today up into that bowl?
Yeah, we'll go back into the bowl, up the creek, and we'll let them make their move first because they got the advantage.
Yeah.
Dall sheep have hard rectangular hooves that provide excellent traction on steep, rocky terrain. Trying to keep up with them won't be easy for a flatlander like me.
They're so smart.
Given the intense demands of this extreme endeavor, Chuck will stay back with Sammy's mom, Sharon.
Nice knowing you, kid.
Yeah.
You'll probably puke a couple times as you're walking up there.
I'll probably myself.
Yeah.
Not only will this be physically taxing, it will also be nerve-wracking. The Dall sheep could be anywhere. We must be constantly alert if we are to find any.
We walked like a kilometer and a half. It's pretty tough.
We're gonna take that ridge line. We're gonna go around where that mountain comes way to the bottom.
Yeah.
And we'll follow that ridge all the way up to where they are.
Hiking these mountains is tough enough. Doing it with a heavy pack on your back is even tougher.
That's a lot of extra weight. It adds an extra 30, 40 pounds and throws your equilibrium off. So man, one wrong step, you're either going backwards or you're going over.
It wouldn't take too much to twist an ankle out here. We have to be cautious. One misstep could jeopardize the entire hunt. It takes little time before Sammy spots something.
Okay, you can see him from here. Yeah.
There's a good-sized herd off in the distance, but getting close enough to take a shot will mean some major trekking.
Like, what are you looking for?
An old ram.
Yeah, so like a bigger guy.
Yeah. One that's not going to live much longer.
Okay.
So we get a ram that we're not going to affect the herd population, and it's going to allow the younger rams to breed.
Now that we have our sights set on some sheep, we have to plan our next moves carefully.
It's really steep. They won't be able to see us, and we'll stay on the back side of the ridge.
And then it'll pop up kind of closer to them.
Yeah, and we'll have to always watch the wind.
The steep climb up the mountain is punishing. My body is being pushed to the limit. I'm impressed Sammy and Jared are able to keep track of the sheep while also maintaining their footing on sheer, rolling rocks.
It makes plenty of sense now why they call this like the hardest hunt in the world. Like, this is just absolutely grueling. Like, I don't know how much we've climbed in elevation.
We're pretty close. We're almost in shooting range.
The sheep sighting keeps our spirits up. We know we're on the right path, but it's hard to get close to these notoriously shy animals.
There was two that were right here, and they walked over up this right side. So they're just on the other side. We might get lucky if they come back. We'll be right where we need to be.
It's crazy how, like, 1 second you can be tired and not want to take another goddamn step, but then you see that there's something that close, and it just kind of reinvigorates you a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe our luck is improving. Back in Burwash Landing,
I just fed him treats to make it.
Chuck is busy helping Sammy's mom Sharon with her work.
Oh, this has got a bone in it.
Sharon is a knowledge keeper and the source of a lot of Sammy's traditional skills. She's going to share some of her techniques with my old man.
We're off. We're gonna go set the net. Sharon's gonna show me how to do it. I'm gonna get wet. She can stand on the shore and just direct me, I guess.
Boss you around, yeah.
Yeah. Left-hand side?
Yeah, before that.
Aside from hunting Dall sheep, fishing provides an alternative source of protein in a community with one small grocery store.
Okay, we're gonna string this long rope.
The long white one.
This one here, Sharon?
Yeah.
Okay.
This lake is teeming with giant northern pike, a staple in the community.
Pull!
Okay.
They strategically place a net across this fast-moving channel
Whoa!
where fish will hopefully be passing through.
Tie it off here.
Yeah.
Learned how to do this. So we had a good day today. It was good. Learned lots.
Sharon and Chuck will leave the net overnight in hopes they will have a good harvest tomorrow.
It just keeps going.
Back in the mountains, we're still trying to get within shooting range of a very timid and very fast herd of Dall sheep.
A little further up.
Might be a place to hide behind. There's that little thing sticking out.
As Sammy looks ahead, he sees that the Dall sheep have moved.
The sheep that we were after, they've gone on the other side of this ridge, and there's all kinds of canyons and stuff in there. Sammy went to the top, and they're as good as gone for us for today. So we'll make the hopefully easier descent back to the camp, have some dinner, and we'll try again. Try again early in the morning, but it's really frustrating because there's like 10 of them across on that other mountain just mocking us. They're just right there, but you know that's like a kilometer away.
So it is kind of like when we're going down, we'll space each other out a little bit because of the rolling rocks. And just try to watch your footing.
I thought climbing up was hard. It turns out that going down is even harder.
That was brutal. I'm absolutely exhausted. I hope tomorrow is a little bit easier.
We're on day 2 of our hunt for Dall sheep in the Yukon's Kluane Mountains.
This is gonna be tough today. So what's the plan for this morning?
We'll just continue up. We've seen, I don't know, over 20 rams. We'll just go up where we can see again, and we'll make a new plan.
Okay.
A plan to make a plan. Great. But first we need to climb back up this steep mountain.
You can't do this 2 days in a row. Everything just hurts.
I'm learning firsthand just how much Dall sheep hunting requires real physical strength and positive mental endurance.
Sheep are one of those things, they mess with your mind, yeah. A lot of people, they're like, so where now? What are we gonna do? We're gonna get them.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, right?
Yeah. And we'll potentially be walking on grass today.
Yes.
Yes.
Moss.
Moss.
If you fall, you're fine.
Yeah.
You could roll down that and probably be just a little beat up.
Yeah. I think yesterday would have been an emergency helicopter flight out.
Yeah.
The soft moss under our feet is a welcome change from the rolling rocks we endured yesterday. Sammy continuously keeps an eye out for sheep and plans our route according to their movements.
We'll try to take that like nice grassy slope to that ridge there, and then we'll stay on that ridge line, and then we're gonna have to kind of stay down and stick back a little. We'll just advance slowly from there.
The Dall sheep are extremely skittish. We must approach with the highest caution.
If they come around, that's probably shooting range, I would say.
We're finally close enough to take a shot, but there's a problem.
He's not in a good spot. He's in a bad spot.
The sheep are on a steep ledge high above the ground. Shooting one here could cause it to fall off the edge and out of reach. Looks like our hunt continues. Back in Burwash Landing.
We're here off the old Alaskan Highway, which isn't even being used anymore, and this creek is here. And it's called Glacier Creek,
Yeah.
right? That's got the best water in the world, apparently.
Chuck helps Sharon harvest some of the plants she needs.
These are called Grassoparnassus, and they're for energy. Like if you're feeling low in your spirit,
Yeah.
we call it your ING.
Yeah.
Then we put this straight into the water. You just put them in the water like that
And just let them soak in there.
and let them soak in there, yeah. And then you leave it in there, and then your mind feels better.
Next, Chuck and Sharon head back to the lake to see if the nets they set caught any fish. Meanwhile, back in the mountains, we've been hiking for hours, and I'm hitting the wall.
How high do you think we are?
We're probably around 6,000.
That's pretty high.
5,500.
Yeah.
Need one of those little oxygen things.
Yeah. This little bottle.
Yeah.
But the sacrifice to get here proves worthwhile. Sammy locates the herd.
But we might have to go up and around because there's no way to get near them without them seeing us.
By up and around, Sammy means we'll have to cross a narrow ridge to get a clean shot. Dangerously narrow.
I wasn't exactly sure what I was signing up for.
Don't look down?
Yeah, just don't look down.
My respect for the Dall sheep hunt has reached new levels. After finally making it across, the risk pays off.
There's a ram right there.
Back in Burwash Landing, Sharon and Chuck check on the net they set the day before.
Always fun pulling a net because you don't know what you're going to get.
Seagull's watching you.
Yeah. A lot of work for one person to do.
Yeah. I like being the boss, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's better.
Oh, that's a big one, eh?
Yeah.
Is that a jack?
Yeah, another jack, and it looks like a sucker. What do you do with the suckers?
Well, we can leave that one for the eagle and the seagulls.
Sure.
As soon as they see it over there, they'll come.
They'll come.
They'll be flocking in. They're watching somewhere.
Ouch.
The net has produced a bounty of large northern pike.
It's a lot of fish in one tub.
Oh, he's oh, that sucker's still alive. He's probably gonna bite me.
Where's that club?
Okay, come on out there.
They sure wrap up in there when they get caught, eh? Oh, geez.
Okay.
That's a lot of fish. It's got to be 60 pounds there.
With a big haul,
I'm feeling her.
Chuck and Sharon guarantee us a great meal tonight. I hope we can add some doll sheep to the menu.
I'm just gonna walk over there and see where he is.
We have finally come across some sheep that Sammy thinks he can shoot.
There's a ram coming up on this side of the ridge, so we need to reposition so we're in a good spot because he's in the cliffs.
He tries to find the best spot to shoot the ram without being seen.
Pick a hole, we'll sit here on this side of the ridge.
This is the moment we've all worked towards for the past 2 days. But of course, we have yet another precarious ridge to cross.
See that little nub where they went up that steep right here? I'm gonna cut across to that and get on that trail, and we'll go right to the peak, and hopefully it's all good. Just be sure-footed, right? Little steps, sure-foot. This is it, final countdown.
After tracking the doll sheep for the past 2 days in the Kluane Mountains, we have finally found a window of opportunity.
They're just on the other side of that knoll right there. They're probably gonna start running. I'm just gonna shoot. At this point, this is the last legs, right?
I'm running out of adrenaline. It's getting late and I'm out of gas. This is our last chance to get a ram.
I'm gonna shoot him right there. He's on the ridge. He's running.
Before Sammy can get it in his sights, the skittish ram scrambles over the ridge and out of view.
Gone.
We're heading home empty-handed, but that doesn't mean it wasn't worthwhile.
The hunt wasn't a success in the traditional terms. We didn't get a sheep, but I saw some of the most beautiful terrain I've probably ever going to see in my life. So, you know, it's a small victory, I suppose.
You have a good idea of what it's all about? And
yeah, honestly, there's a few moments where I felt scared for my life.
yeah, but it's all worth it in the end,
Yeah.
you know? That's the whole mentality of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to it.
Man, that looks good. Nothing like fresh fish.
That you caught yourself.
Back at camp, we feast on Chuck and Sharon's harvest of fish and reflect on our time together.
We weren't entirely successful in the hunt, but we had a life-affirming experience that I don't think any of us will ever forget.
Hey, grab a fork and dive in before it gets cold.
This was probably the most extreme thing we've ever done. So how many people in the Kluane First Nation do this? Is this a thing that a lot of guys still do, or is it just so extreme that people have just kind of let it go?
There's still people that hunt sheep, for sure, yeah. Not many. You know, some of the young girls, they got a couple rams. That was really cool to see them go out there, you know. It's all leadership program, that's where I look at it, right? Like, if you want to hunt sheep, you need to be taught by somebody.
Yeah.
You sleep on the mountain, no sleeping bag, you learn pretty quick. And then either you don't do it again or you really persevere and try 3 or 4 more times to be successful. It's the ultimate hunting experience on the mountain because the mountain is what's going to get you.
This was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. I'm leaving the Kluane territory with a deeper connection to the mountains and a new respect for the Dall sheep and those who hunt them. Along the southern shores of Lake Superior is the Bad River Reservation. It's the largest reservation in the state of Wisconsin and home to the Chippewa, also known as Anishinaabe or Ojibwe. Much of their land is high-quality wetlands, and they say that the best wild rice in the world grows here. In Ojibwe, wild rice is called Manoomin. My old man and I are here to learn the traditional ways to harvest and prepare Manoomin, a food that holds a special place in the hearts of the Chippewa people.
I'd say I started ricing when I was 9.
Dan Wiggins and his wife Gloria come from a long line of traditional Manoomin harvesters. Wild rice is in their blood.
If you grow up around here, if you had family that stayed around here, wild ricing is definitely something that's been a part of your personal history.
They live in an area full of marshlands, small lakes, and slow-moving streams, perfect for growing wild rice. The plant isn't actually rice, but a grass, and the tasty grain it produces is high in protein and nutrients. It's a highly valued and respected food.
I've been in a lot of communities where they have wild rice, but it seems like it's more revered in Bad River than anywhere else.
It's very revered here. We harvest it every season. It's a big community event.
That reverence goes back centuries, rooted in a prophecy that tells the story of how the Ojibwe came to live here.
About over 500 years ago, we were all settled into the east, and there was prophecies that white men were going to come over and that we needed to move. So all of us, Anishinaabe, Potawatomi, Odawa, we all came, and they made several stopping points along the Great Lakes. And the prophecy was, on the 7th stopping point, you're going to find the food that grows on water. And this is the 7th stopping point.
There is only a small window of time to harvest wild rice, so we need to get out to the rice beds, which are inland from Lake Superior. To help us today, Dan and Gloria have invited Dylan Jennings. He has an immense knowledge of all things Manoomin, but he's modest about it.
I don't consider myself, any kind of authority on Manoomin.
Let's not kid ourselves. To the layperson, Dylan is a Manoomin guru.
I've had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with different elders and knowledge holders, harvesters, people that have, taken me under their wing and still learning a lot.
We'll launch into Pakwawong Lake, about an hour's drive from Bad River, in what's known as ceded territory.
What's the difference between ceded land and reserve land?
Yeah, so the United States and our tribal nations, our Ojibwe communities, entered into multiple treaties back in the 1800s, which essentially, a lot of them were land cession treaties. So ceded land is still land that our tribal nations still have rights to utilize, to harvest and to hunt and fish.
And to harvest Manoomin, you need these traditional tools, which Gloria is the expert at using.
Tell us a little bit about those, because that's a unique, never seen it. It kind of looks like you're going to slay some vampires.
So these are called bawa iganatig. So these are the racing sticks that when you grab the stalks and you can use.
Yeah, delicately sort of thing.
Well, some do it delicately, but just enough for the rice to fall off.
I can't wait to get out into the canoes. But first, we put tobacco down to honor the harvest and our journey.
We're asking for safety out there, right? Water is nothing to mess around with. It has the power to give life and take life.
We're from out of state, so Chuck and I can't actively participate in the harvest, but we'll be right beside them in our canoe.
We should follow them, Chuck.
Yep, we will get in there right behind them.
Dan and Gloria know the exact time of year they need to be here to harvest Manoomin, because there is only a window of a week or two in late summer when it's ripe and ready. Dan uses a pole rather than a paddle. It makes it easier to maneuver the canoe through the thick foliage. Gloria handles the knocking sticks with the skill of a master. With one stick, she pulls the rice plants over the canoe. With the other, she knocks the rice grains into the bottom. Rice and dust are flying everywhere. The hat protects Gloria's eyes. The technique is almost like a dance to the beat of the sticks.
I always say listen to the good knockers because you'll hear the rhythm within the how they rice. There's a song, and you want to get to that song point.
As we try to keep up with Dan and Gloria, Chuck and I do our own dance.
Yeah. Which way are you going, Sam?
I'm paddling backwards.
No, just go straight ahead and cut into their channel there.
Okay. This is like paddling through mud. This is crazy. Yeah, I can see where the pole is beneficial. Because we're just...
we can make it through it.
We can't help but knock a few rice seeds into our canoe.
I feel like we're inadvertently ricing.
Yeah. Gloria, we got half a bag in our canoe already. How much you got?
I don't know, you might get a fine.
It seems teasing is something they have in common with the Métis.
Oh.
While we struggle, I have to admire the skill Dan and Gloria have.
Dan and Gloria are great. Really cool husband and wife duo. Really cool to see them work together. They've got a really good system down. It's a lot of work, like paddling through that. But if you know what you're doing with the pole, you can move pretty gracefully through that. You kind of look like you're on like the canals of Venice, trying to push your way through that rice.
The rice and the area will tell you where you can go. Just be mindful that you're in a bog. Bogs float. It can get complicated, but just move where it kind of lets you take it.
It's easy to see the passion that Dan, Gloria, and Dylan have for this.
To me, being out here harvesting is exercising our sovereignty, you know, our ability to reconnect with our environment here, and also our ability to feed our people. It's physically and spiritually nourishing for us to have these foods, but also just knowing that these are potentially some of the same rice beds that our ancestors were in, harvesting in hundreds of years ago. Some of that same Manoomin, there's something spiritually charging about that.
Out here, surrounded by rice plants, it's easy to appreciate what Dylan is saying. This really does feel like another world lost in time, no different than it was in the ancient past. But this world is under threat. Dylan tells us that historically, Manoomin grew all over the Midwest of America, but due to logging and industrialization, much of it is gone.
You know, there's been a lot of damage done historically to wild rice beds and to essentially to our culture, our way of life.
This is something I've seen everywhere along my journey, how industrial practices and government policy have adversely affected ecosystems. The tribe itself has put considerable efforts into bridging both traditional and scientific knowledge.
I think it's a well-rounded perspective you have to have some of the scientific data and information, but then with some of the traditional ecological knowledge paired together.
That's something that's a new term for Western societies is tribal ecological knowledge. You know, recognizing that tribes and the native people here really have a set of knowledge that relates to the land and the environment around them. Scientists are still discovering so much stuff about wild rice and learning that they have to learn more about, you know, what's in the soils, you know, what makes it actually unique.
Through strict regulations and careful resource management, Bad River has preserved the rice fields, ensuring the community can continue to harvest Manoomin. And just when we thought the hard part was done, we're about to discover that harvesting is only the half of it. We're in the marshlands of Wisconsin, where my old man Chuck and I are getting a close-up look at how wild rice is harvested. Dan and Gloria have filled their canoe with wild rice, or Manoomin, but there's still a lot of work to do before we can eat it.
So we've got, you know, let's say a couple gallons of rice. What's the next step? What do we have to do next?
Processing it, getting it to eat. You know, as you guys can see, when it goes in your mouth now, it's not so pleasant. It's sticky, it's sticking everywhere. We got worms falling in there.
We collect the rice from the bottom of the canoe and lay it out to dry for a few days. Then Dylan begins the long process to make it ready to eat.
This is what we'll call scorching, you know, using one of these old kettles and putting a small batch in here. We have it tilted at an angle so that the flames are predominantly hitting this upper part of the kettle here. And so this bottom part won't be extremely hot. We're gonna just move that Manoomin to those hot spots on the top of the kettle and let it fall down and just keep cycling it through.
So it doesn't burn, but it just sort of gets hot.
Yeah, it's like a slow roasting of it.
Roasting like this draws out the moisture. And with this step, the rice can be preserved for storage or moved onto the next step of processing.
There's something about just doing it like this around a fire.
Yeah.
Kind of a sort of late summer, early fall. Just it's really nice.
Relaxing sort of thing. Nice.
You can imagine our ancestors or even the old timers coming off the lake or the waters there and, you know, having hundreds of pounds of Manoomin, and everybody would have a role responsibility. Anyone want to try this?
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
There we go.
Us Ukrainians never did any of this before, but
Nice stuff.
the process is just amazing. Like, they do it the old traditional way. There's no airboats, there's no mechanization. Rice in this area is supposed to be the best in the world, and I can see why.
Check it out.
With his experience, Dylan can tell when the rice grains are ready by doing a simple test.
So I take it just like this, and I'll break it. That's a nice clean break right there. So that's parched well enough.
The next step is quite literally a step, or steps rather, many of them, preferably coming from little feet. These particular feet belong to Kateri Jennings, Dylan's daughter. The tradition is to dig a hole about a foot deep and lay down a tarp or deer hide, and then have children in soft moccasins dance on the rice. This separates the Manoomin from the husk, and because a child is light of foot, the Manoomin itself won't be damaged.
Too much weight, right, obviously can break the Manoomin. You know, you want it to be soft enough to break the seeds away. You know, you'd still have visible husks in there. So you might take it out and use this new Scotchenoggin or this windwing basket. Yep. They're built with this lip on there so that you literally roll this batch over that lip and then back into the basket, and then the dust and the husk go out with it.
It's like flipping eggs. Oh yeah, you can see it coming off. Yeah.
The idea is to let the wind do the work and blow the excess dust out of the rice.
But yeah, if you didn't do that properly, you could have some problems.
You have to be careful who you have tried out. I've handed this basket to people just to go, and all of it onto the ground.
Gotta have a big sheet down there.
How hard can that really be? Despite Dylan's warning, I give it a try.
I'll give her a shot. I'll be gentle. I don't wanna. So it's kind of just get to the lip.
Oh, you
Jesus!
That's it.
Oh, the first time.
Well, this time next year there'll be Manoomin growing all throughout this.
Put that down. I'm gonna give it back to you before I drop it again.
While they still process Manoomin using traditional methods, Dylan shows me an easier way, using modern-day indigenous ingenuity to process big batches.
So this is the scorcher.
Oh, so this is more on like the industrial scale.
We've got constant heat on the bottom of there. We've got a gear reduction box in there that essentially turns it slowly. And these are all old repurposed barrels.
So it's just something you and your dad built?
Yeah, me and a good chum of ours, we put this together, yeah.
Custom designs like this are all over Bad River, using pieces borrowed from old farm equipment or whatever else they can get their hands on.
This actually does a little bit of both the dancing and the winnowing. So it spins fast, blows out some Manoomin out the top, and then these paddles just continually move.
So that just breaks the chaff off?
Yeah, it rolls the chaff. That's what we really want, is for it to roll.
This stuff is all really nicely made.
Oh yeah, yeah. Using things that you have, and you know, the native ingenuity again.
And the final machine, it will give us a clean, finished product.
Cool thing about this one is you can put it through as many times as you want. It'll separate the small pieces away from the bigger pieces. So there's where some of our soup rice and the more finer particulates will come out right about there. Our husks and other lighter things will be blown out that back part. There's actual a fan being pulled as well, so that's all blowing out the back side. And then our finished stuff will be right down here. You can see.
Oh, the long grain.
Long grain, a lot cleaner now.
Yeah, I'll see. Nice and uniform. Yeah.
So you can see, like, many communities probably get frustrated when they see signs for some of that fake wild rice, then it's really cheap. And, you know, here we know exactly how much work it goes in to just get a little bit. You know, we always put a lot of good energies, good, you know, love into the work that we do. It's hard to put a price tag on that.
Yeah, so it's best not to let some schlubs from Canada drop your rice.
Yeah.
I've had wild rice or Manoomin my whole life. We've always had it, but boy, I had no idea how much actual work went into it. They've done so much to preserve their way of life when it comes to Manoomin, and it's clearly like different parts of the world have certain animals that are really important. For them, it's the wild rice, and it's just as important as any animal to any other people.
After days of harvesting and processing, the wild rice is finally ready to be cooked. I can hardly wait to taste the legendary Bad River Manoomin. In Bad River, Wisconsin, we've experienced the harvesting and processing of wild rice. The care and effort that goes into it is astonishing. After all that work, we finally get to try it. But first, a traditional Ojibwe prayer.
Isayu apichigashtuyan higwech So Wisanada means let's eat.
This is Bad River wild rice, the best in the world, and probably cooked the best and simplest way with butter and salt.
And boy, is he right. It's fantastic.
Was this year's harvest?
Yeah, this is this year's harvest. Tastes good, and I think you guys hit it on the head. When you kind of work for something and you kind of work towards the process and get to the end product, it doesn't matter how it comes out sometimes. It just tastes good just to get to the table and eat it. And that's one of the teachings we try to teach our children. You know, they don't know what we're teaching them while we're going through these processes. But, you know, a lot of that is teaching them about, you know, the respect of, you know, the environment, the respect of, but also the respect of yourself. Like, look at what you just did. You just created something from start to finish, and you accomplished something.
I'm humbled by the knowledge, work ethic, and resilience of my new friends in Bad River. I've gained a respect and appreciation for them through their harvest of this often overlooked grain. They have so much to contribute through their stewardship of this corner of the world. And we could all learn from sitting down and listening to their voices, hopefully over a dish that includes delicious Manoomin. Originally known as Fond du Lac, St. Laurent was established in 1824 on the shores of Lake Manitoba. It is one of the world's largest Métis communities, with 3/4 of its residents identifying as Métis. Many families here still speak the Métis language of Michif and practice traditional harvesting techniques, hunting, fishing, and gathering. One of those families is the Lamberts. Heather Lambert grew up in St. Laurent and has been active in preserving the culture and history of the Métis.
What is the Métis way of life as you see it?
The Métis way of life is the land for us. It's living off the land, eating off the land, the language. On the Lambert side, which is my dad's side and the family that you're going to meet today, they've always lived it. Like right from, like since I've been young, I've lived it. The language, before I went to school, I spoke Michif.
It's easy to see that Heather is extremely proud of her Métis heritage. Her family has a long history in these parts, and they're eager to share their culture.
There we go. We'll check this up ahead here. I hope they didn't all fall
Oh, there's a
off.
bunch over there.
Oh, yeah.
One of those family members is Heather's Aunt Jay. She's a born and bred St. Laurent Métis. We joined her to pick berries, a key part of the Métis diet.
OK, Sam, on va ramasser des pambinas.
Did I mention she's also a fluent Michif speaker?
Peminas.
Well, that's what we call them.
We call them peminas. It's
Pemina.
cranberries. They pemina.
Or eyebush cranberry.
I've heard high bush cranberries.
Yeah, we call it pemina.
Peux m'aider à ramasser.
You can help her.
Some are just bright red.
Yeah.
Whoops.
There's lots of them. Lots of them.
Tu fais un bon job, Sam.
You're doing good, Sam.
High bush cranberries, or peminas, are used by many Métis to make jellies and many delicious desserts. But like most good things, you have to work for them.
Oh, look at there's some here.
Another big part of Métis culture is the practical joke.
Let's
Try it. Essay.
No, try to my mouth?
Yeah.
All right. Oh.
She said when they were younger, they used to squeeze it and try to squeeze.
Oh, it hit you in the eye?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We were with des enfants.
We head a little deeper into the forest for a deeper conversation.
Is Michif your first language?
Yeah, Michif, on parle en Métis quand on était jeune. Il fallait apprendre à parler l'anglais. On parlait pas l'anglais.
I think I understood most of that.
Yeah.
There you go. So you can translate it now. translate it?
Well, I was gonna say you spoke Michif when you were young, and then you learned when you're bigger, you learned English.
When we started school.
Started
yeah.
school. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Good though,
Mhm.
see?
Yeah.
See, you're learning. It's good.
Yeah.
Unlike conventional French, Michif is a unique blend of several indigenous languages mixed with French into what is known as a mixed language.
I guess when we started school with the nuns, they said we spoke bad French, and they corrected us and everything, you know. And then we felt we were embarrassed, like we didn't want to speak. We spoke English just so people wouldn't make fun of us. Then we have kids and we don't want to teach them the way, you know, like it's so sad, you know, what we went through.
History is unfortunately littered with stories like this. But thankfully, there are steps being taken to preserve many indigenous languages, including Michif.
There, I guess that's pretty lit for this bush.
I got some salad for you in there too. I'm a dirty picker, they call it. 'Cause I got all kinds of stuff in there.
You're not picking for me.
Got him. Look,
Oh, that was
I
it.
got him in the face.
That was fun.
Just wait.
Just
You're going in a really bad home. You got raspberries and strawberries too.
Raspberries and
Lots of
strawberries.
those.
Wow.
we have some, but not a lot.
We move locations to harvest another Métis delicacy, the hazelnut, or pecan in Michif.
They're so delicious.
This nut holds a very special place in many a Métis heart.
The Métis people were poor sometimes, and they couldn't buy the nuts in the store, so
Yeah.
they would pick and pick and pick, and they would use it at Christmas or
Yeah.
just as a treat.
Hazelnuts grow in abundance in the forests around St. Laurent.
Bushels of them.
Yeah.
In many places around the world, they are primarily known as the main ingredient in the popular spread Nutella. But the Métis prefer to eat them unprocessed.
So how do you eat? Do you roast them or do you prepare them? Like what do you do with
They're
them?
dry, they're ready.
They're dry and just eat them like that.
Yeah. And the reason it's a treat because, you know, again, the process, you know, you have to pick them, they have to dry, and you know, it takes time, like, you know, so they're probably ready. I don't know if you opened it yet.
Yeah, oh, they're ready. Tad the pecan.
Un gros tel de pecan.
There you go.
We appear to have picked a perfect day to harvest hazelnuts.
This is ripe, ready to go here. This
Yeah.
is how, when you want to pick them most easiest.
Yeah.
The nuts have begun to turn brown and fall easily out of their husks.
You don't even have to move very far.
No, they're so easy.
Are we good?
I think we're good.
What's the next step?
Well, we go home and now we need to dry them. They're wet, so we want to spread them out and dry them for a couple of weeks until they're completely dry. And then
they're easier.
They're easier to take the husks off.
You kind of just go like this, and the nuts fall out. Lead pecan.
Lead pecan.
Yeah. That's my brother.
I wasn't expecting that. This is Claude Lambert, Heather's father. Fisherman, hunter, and a former professional baseball player. He's what you picture when someone says Métis.
Are you ever going to slow down?
Never. Tell them never.
It won't be long.
We met Claude on the shore of Lake Manitoba as he prepares to set a net.
How do you start? You roll out there?
Yeah.
How many? How far?
About 100 yards.
Oh, yeah.
I'll let the net out as I'm going, and I'll set the net out.
Oh, okay.
Claude rows into the choppy water with the net in tow. He's done this hundreds, if not thousands of times. This is what's known as harvest fishing. It's a right the Métis in Manitoba have only gotten back within the last decade. It means they're allowed to net fish to feed themselves and their families.
Je vais venir demain matin vers 9h, 10h. On va prendre du poisson de l'arrêt. Après ça, on va aller Ikupi.
What, do you hear that?
What?
Those fish. They're saying, what the hell did I swim into now? They're caught there in your net already.
I hope Chuck is right, and there's a net full of fish awaiting us in the morning. We're in the Métis heartland of St. Laurent, Manitoba. Last night, we watched Claude run a net on Lake Manitoba. This morning, we've returned to check it.
Oh, there's already some fish.
Claude is joined by his son Claude Jr. and his grandson Aiden. They waste no time pulling in the net.
How much are you allowed with the subsistence for the harvester?
50 pounds of fillet. 50 pounds, yeah.
Per year or per season?
At one time.
At one time?
Yeah. Boy, I'm surprised there's lots. Yeah.
It's like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Harvests like this show just how important the lakes, rivers, and oceans are to Indigenous peoples everywhere.
I figure we only get about 5 or 6 fish.
Yeah.
Lake Manitoba is home to a diverse assortment of fish, including perch, pike, mullet, carp, and everyone's favorite,
Pickerel is what everyone wants.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Everybody wants pickerel. That's the good one.
That's a good one.
There are even some fish in here that neither Chuck or I have ever seen.
There's that big one. That's a carp.
Buffalo fish.
Buffalo fish.
Oh, good to eat?
No.
No.
Still alive. Whoa! This guy goes back though. Not very pretty. There he goes.
We continue to bring in the net, which feels much longer than 100 yards. Each pull reveals more and more fish. Claude estimates that we took between 50 and 70 fish. The net was set only 12 hours earlier, which is absolutely incredible.
Boy, we caught lots, eh?
Oh, yes. I couldn't believe that.
What was it like growing up in fishing in St. Laurent?
It was a way of life at my family, and not only my family, but every majority of families. That's what they did for a livelihood. It was a way of providing food for us, to feed us. It was nice.
It was just a natural thing, eh? You just,
yeah, natural, yeah.
Yeah, just what a person does, yeah.
Did your dad drag you out as soon as you could walk? Were you out there?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
At grade 7 there, we had to quit school. He brought us to the store to buy the gloves and overall.
Really?
That was your present.
That was the start of misery.
3 generations of Lamberts are here. Claude is hoping his grandson will continue the traditions of fishing and harvesting.
How important is it to keep this going with him?
I don't know. We could keep the tradition going, I guess. It's a way of life.
What do you think of this, Aiden, taking over?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah? Oh.
It's fun.
Yeah?
Nice.
You enjoy it?
Yeah, nice hobby.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, it's a hard life, but it's fun.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little envious that these types of traditions weren't passed down to me from my Métis family. But it is great to see a young person like Aiden actively taking part and learning skills that will last a lifetime.
Bon, on va prendre 2 petits poissons. Oh là, je suis dans le... T'as-tu trouvé le sharp, là?
You can't catch 70 fish and simply walk away with the job only half done.
So go right behind the gill, right about there?
Underneath the gill.
Underneath that one.
Meet Nancy Lambert, Claude's wife and Heather's mom. She's going to teach me the correct way to fillet fish.
And then just go on the slant.
At an angle?
An angle, yeah.
You got to move your lips when you're filleting fish, because that's works better that way.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's got it.
Yeah.
And just when I'm feeling confident.
Oh. Oh, no, man. There's one of the best eaten parts of the fish.
That's the where there's no bones.
Considering you do a couple thousand of these, you probably get better, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The more you do, the better it is.
Yeah.
I regain my composure, and before I know it, I'm like an old pro, filleting with the best of them.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, that's a big fillet.
Yeah.
But I can't compete with Claude and his newfangled electric knife.
There.
He does it with the electric knife. But in the old days, they didn't have that.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
As with many aspects of Métis life, today is a family affair. Almost everyone is pitching in to help with the catch. But according to Nancy, that wasn't always the case.
Back in the days, the man would never fill it. Like, but to make a meal there, it was the woman.
So the men would go out and get the fish, bring them back, and it was the women's job to clean them.
Yeah, the woman would do it. So I don't know why the men didn't finish the job and
No, that's right. Yeah. That one went a lot better.
Chuck joins in to help with the home stretch. I don't think either of us have ever filleted this many fish.
Oh, last one, yay.
Last one.
If you need some free labor.
Now we know where to phone.
Yeah.
Nancy will next clean, salt, and freeze the fillets. They can last up to 3 years in the freezer. And then, as in most Indigenous communities,
We give to the older people there, you know, they like that. They like to eat fish, so we always give them some. We give them lots away.
that's very much in keeping with the spirit of community, an important part of Métis life.
Hey, doing a good job.
In St. Laurent, Manitoba, the Lamberts waste little time. As soon as we're done cleaning the fish, Nancy, Jay, and Claude Jr. are busy in the kitchen, preparing a meal fit for Métis royalty. Nancy and Jay sit down with us to explain some of the dishes they've prepared, using mostly locally harvested ingredients.
So what do we have here that you brought?
Saskatoon crisps, ça c'est pour le dessert, on va manger ça avec l'ice cream. Elk, meatballs, des boulettes au elk avec la sauce barbecue au poirier au Saskatoon. Ça c'est fait avec des pains bénins, c'est la gelée de pain bénin.
Et puis le poisson, vous l'avez pogné un matin. Puis elle a épluché mes patates, puis j'ai fait une tarte au poire, puis c'est d'autres j'ai fait. J'ai pas fait. Ah, je vais faire les légumes, puis coleslaw.
Everywhere we always go, everyone always says their bannock is the best. Is your bannock the best?
It is, because I've eaten half
He
of
said
it.
that. Ask him, he had one.
It's excellent.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
I couldn't.
Fluffy, eh?
Yeah, it's fluffy.
Come get your plate.
The whole fish.
We let the old guy dish out first. Then together with the Lambert family, we sit down to enjoy the home-cooked meal.
You said the other day, Heather, that like a lot of people are Métis, but you guys live Métis. Like it's not just like it's like yeah, I guess so, but like you guys continue to do these things, and we've always
done it
you
from
always
day
done-
one.
yeah, from
and
day
not
one.
only me, they did too, and you know what I mean. So just living in St. Laurent, I think that's just we're lucky to have that because we've always lived it. We're one of the very few communities that are like that.
It's
I
like-
think a lot of now in this generation, they're just reconnecting with their Métis heritage, which is good. You know, if you want to embrace it, then that's great. But we've always done it.
Yeah.
For you, Sam, you said you lost it. How will you try to be part of your Métis heritage now?
Like I said, we never really openly embraced it, really talked too much about it, kind of like what you guys did. But the more time I spend with like people like you or other people we've been with, I realized we kind of just did all that stuff without even acknowledging it. It was just kind of like that, you know, like the teasing and like everything's the big family. So yeah, I think it's always been there, but now it's just a little bit more, more aware of it.
I think as people are talking more about it and getting back to their roots and all that, I think that that's the reason, because for a while, well, when we were younger, we were, well, kind of, you know, ashamed to speak the language or whatever.
It's a strange and complex idea, being ashamed of who you are and where you came from. Something I can openly admit to, having denied my Métis heritage in my younger years. But after spending time with the Lamberts, I've learned a lot, and I've turned towards embracing and exploring the culture, much like Heather and her family have always done. The last year has been an interesting journey. I've seen things I never thought I'd see.
Look at that. Good job, buddy. Yeah, look at him. Look at him.
I've traveled to some of the most breathtaking places in North America.
It makes plenty of sense now why they call this like the hardest hunt in the world.
And I've made friends for life.
Slowly crawling on and putting your weight on it.
But most importantly, I got to do it all with my dad.
They say never to work with your relatives or family, but actually, we actually got. I still like you.
Yeah, yeah.
Hope you still like me. It was a grueling year, that's for sure, but lots of experiences.
Been to some places, seen some things, and done some things that most people will never have the chance to do. So that's very fortunate, and I guess having you there was all right.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, was it?